A coffee shop. Two men at the next table. One of them nods toward a gym bag on the floor, hers, and says to his friend, not quietly enough, "Bet she's fun until she wants to arm wrestle you for it." A joke. Except jokes are just opinions that haven't been asked to defend themselves yet. That line isn't actually about her arm strength. It's about a hierarchy he assumes exists by default between a man and a woman, and what happens to his sense of place in the world if that hierarchy doesn't hold up. So the question worth asking is this: why does a woman's physical capability get treated like a challenge to a man's position instead of just a fact about her? There's an instinct behind that joke, and it has a name. It shows up in relationships long before anyone's arm is anywhere near a table. That's what today is actually about. No fluff, just what that instinct is, and what to do once you can see it clearly.
Welcome to Iron Femme, a channel that helps women build strength that shows up everywhere. In the gym, in your career, in your voice, in your life. No shrinking, no apologizing, no training light. We lift heavy, we stand tall, we take up space. Physique, mindset, presence, all of it. If you want to be stronger in every room you walk into, you are in the right place.
She's at the coffee shop, gym bag by her feet, chalk still faint on her knuckles from that morning's session. Two guys, one table over, not talking to her, talking about her, at a volume built to be overheard. Bet she's fun until she wants to arm wrestle you for it. A laugh, not cruel exactly, just careless. The kind of comment that gets made because the person making it has never once had to think about how it lands. This isn't rare. It's not even the worst version of this comment most women have heard. It's one entry in a long list. The boyfriend who calls her scary strong in front of his friends like it's a nickname. The coworker who says, "Remind me not to make you mad," when she carries her own boxes. The stranger at the gym who tells her she lifts like a man, like that's the highest compliment available. Different rooms, different men, same sentence, translated slightly each time. Here's the mechanism underneath all of it: status threat response. Men are conditioned, not by biology alone, but by decades of social scripting, to locate a chunk of their identity in being the more physically capable party in a relationship or social dynamic. That script gets written early and reinforced constantly. He's supposed to carry the heavy thing, win the arm wrestle, be the strong one by default, not by comparison. A woman's visible strength doesn't threaten his actual body. His body is unaffected by what she can deadlift. What it threatens is the script, the internal story he's been handed about what his role is supposed to be and where he's supposed to rank in a room. That's the whole mechanism. It's not that her strength does something to him physically. It's that her strength removes a comparison he was relying on to feel secure. When that comparison disappears, some men fill the gap with a joke, a comment, a label, anything that restores the ranking, even if it's fictional. This is a role conflict reaction. It is not a strength assessment. It was never actually about her. Run this on one specific, common version, the arm wrestle joke itself. Observation. He frames it as humor. Lighthearted, deniable, easy to laugh off if she pushes back. Jokes about a woman's strength being a challenge to be won or lost are a low-risk way to reassert a hierarchy without admitting that's what's happening. If she laughs, the ranking holds. If she calls it out, he gets to say it was just a joke. The same man will happily lose a chess game to her, a debate to her, an argument about directions to her. No discomfort there, because those losses don't touch the script. But losing an arm wrestle or being outlifted hits differently, because that comparison was supposed to be the one guaranteed win. What he's actually saying, translated, I need at least one place where the ranking still favors me by default, not your strength is a problem. The shift. Stop auditing her own body or behavior for the problem, because the problem was never located there. Start reading the comment as data about the other person's threshold, not her ceiling. Practically, this means one question replaces the old one. Instead of asking, what's wrong with how I'm coming across? Ask, what does this person need to feel secure right now, and is that actually my responsibility to provide? It usually isn't. A woman's training, her numbers in the gym, the shape her body takes as a result, none of that was ever a request submitted to a committee for approval. It's not her job to keep another person's internal ranking system intact by staying smaller than it needs her to be. That's the whole reframe. Not ignore the comment, not get angry at the comment, just relocate where the problem actually lives. A woman, early 40s, training seriously for about 3 years, used to go quiet whenever her numbers came up in mixed company. If someone asked what she lifted, she'd round down. If a photo showed her shoulders too clearly, she wouldn't post it. Not because she wasn't proud of the work, because she'd learned, from a string of comments just like the coffee shop line, that the full truth made rooms uncomfortable, and she'd rather manage the room than tell the truth. What changed wasn't her body. It was the filter she ran comments through. The next time a guy she was dating made a version of the arm wrestle joke, she didn't laugh it off and she didn't get defensive. She just asked, flatly, "Is that actually funny to you, or is it doing something else?" He didn't have an answer ready. That was the answer. He didn't stick around long after that, not because she'd been unkind, but because the joke had been doing real work for him. And once it stopped landing, so did the comfort it was providing. The men who left in situations like this weren't rejecting her strength. They were opting out of a dynamic they no longer knew how to manage without that one guaranteed advantage. The ones who stayed did something different. They recalibrated. They found other places to feel secure that didn't depend on her staying smaller. Maybe I should just be smaller? Maybe he's right? Am I overreacting? Here's the answer. And it's not reassurance, it's a controlled variable. The exact same strength, the exact same body, the exact same deadlift number gets read completely differently depending on who's standing across from it. A securely attached partner sees it and finds it attractive, sometimes electrifying. An insecure one sees the identical thing and calls it intimidating. Nothing about her changed between those two reactions. The only variable that moved was the other person's security level. That's not a feeling. That's a pattern that holds up across nearly every account of this kind. The discomfort tracks the observer, not the woman. So the question was never, is my strength too much? The honest question was always, how much of my life am I willing to shrink to manage someone else's insecurity? And once it's phrased that way, the answer tends to be obvious. The label was never a report card on her. It was a mirror pointed at whoever handed it to her. And the coffee shop, the family dinner, the third date, all of it was really just the same mirror held at a different angle. No fluff, just what's actually true. The discomfort in that room was never about the weight on the bar. New breakdowns like this go up weekly here. Strength, identity, and the relationships built around both. For women who'd rather understand the mechanism than just vent about it. If this breakdown helped you see something you've experienced in a completely different way, subscribe. Every week, we unpack the hidden mechanisms behind strength, confidence, relationships, and the social dynamics women navigate every day. Not with cliches or empty reassurance, but with clear explanations grounded in psychology, behavior, and real-world patterns. If you'd rather understand why something happens than simply be told how to feel about it, you're in the right place. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.